Welcome back, guys, to another edition of Before the Rise with Bros. So, in this episode, I was wanting to talk to you guys about something really interesting, actually. It was about how crazy our industry is with the idea of Satanism and the war of satanic rituals versus, religious rituals. And I bring this up because I was on TikTok and on my For You page, and I wanted to share this with you guys, which was very interesting. I think you'll like it. It was making me think how much TikTok does a wonderful job. And I don't mean to say wonderful in a sense to, how do I say, like compliment them, but in a sense that how manipulative their technology and their algorithm is to make you believe the reality distortion field that you have is real. And what I mean by this is the perspective that you think of society is true. And this is a problem because if you actually believe in what you see in regards to what your viewpoint is of the world, then it can truly become that. So if you are someone that's crooked, then the world will become crooked and you'll start to do crooked things. Now, this is a problem because I'll tell you that the idea of Satanism and, the For You page ties in because it showed me how much the spectrum of extreme is. I saw one where there was basically videos showing and basically breaking down and showing everything in the sense of how satanic cults work and what they do and what sacrifices they do and how they have their hands tied in the music industry, the Hollywood industry. You're looking at movies, everything, Netflix documentaries, everything you could think about is they have their hands tied. Versus the other extreme that I saw on how to actually perform those rituals. So you have the, idea of like, okay, one side is showing you that this is bad. The other side is showing you how much you can use this for your own benefit. If this gets in the wrong hands, how can this affect that person, right? And looking at this and thinking about it constantly back to back, I was like, wow, this is interesting. The reason why is because we really are immune to the idea of how Satan or just in general satanic rituals have become normalized to us with the music industry in particular and in the movie industry. I would say The Weeknd, that's one of the examples. I was at his concert and I went one time. That was the first concert I ever gone in my entire life, probably going to be the last concert I ever go. I like his music. I won't say I don't, and I try to restrain from listening to it as much as possible, but I realized how much of a satanic, motive that he had throughout the whole concert. And then as his leg tour continued for part 2 in London and Europe and all these places, I mean, this guy's making it a full-on like ritual now, and seeing the girls come up and dance in crooked ways and move their head certain ways, and then the eyes of like a globe lighting up, and then all these things that are clear signs, and people don't want to look at it. It just made me, basically get goosebumps all over my body. I'm like, damn, this is real. This is absolutely real, and we're taking a part of this. And then it baffled me how dumb people can be. And like literally how people are ignorant and they get mad when you talk about this. They go, oh, it has nothing to do with our lives. Oh, just go focus on making money. Oh, just worry about yourself. This affects our youth and our future generations to come. If you guys didn't hear, Travis Scott, for example, he got denied to perform in, I believe it was Egypt, if I'm not mistaken. And it was primarily for this reason because they said that you conduct satanic rituals at your concert. And if you guys don't remember, a couple people died. I think it was like 7 or 8 people that died in his last concert that he had. So this is telling you clear indications like, hey, this is something going on in our daily lives. How can we prevent it? And what can we do to make sure that we, protect ourselves from this? And I noticed this trend go from like 2000, I believe like 2005, 2006, when music was slowly starting to come up, all the way to like now. It just exponentially went up. Like you're looking at skyrockets, probably 500% up since the time I remember when I was a child. I mean, I remember Akon singing, all these people singing, and it was hypersexualized music, and it was trying to, make you believe in the idea of like getting with the opposite gender, doing things that are very discreet and all, the things that you can do before marriage or whatever. But then now it's blatantly open. You have Lil Nas X, you have these Doja Cat singers, all these people basically writing and, giving lap dances to the devil, then hugging and making out with it. And kids are listening to it going, oh, it's all right. Like this just sounds nice. It's a song. Relax. It's nothing more than that. But they don't realize how much it affects you. It affects you so significantly that even this one guy, I believe you guys remember his name. His name was like something, I forgot his name. I think it was XX Extension or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And he talked about how much the music industry is satanic. For example, He was saying gigahertz. Okay, so there's a scientific study that the gigahertz that we listen to in music and the music that we overall like have around us, the I'm talking about hip hop, pop, whatever it may be, these gigahertz actually take an effect on us, and it changes our mood. So some of the songs you listen to where you feel hyped, it's not just the lyrics that are making it happen. It's the beat, like the tempo, the four snap, five snap, four five, four five, four five, four five, four five, like that. The metronome that it's set up as, and then the gigahertz, the actual gigahertz that affect us, the waves that go through our body make us feel something different. That's why, and a lot of people go, oh, it doesn't mean anything, but it does, because think of it as this. Why do they tell you not to go into x-ray rooms with someone else if you don't have that, I think that cover on, for example, or when you're doing an MRI, all these things the doctors step out. If there's radioactive waves that can affect us, don't you think that sound waves can affect us? Of course it can. Just because we can't see the waves doesn't mean it doesn't affect us. It does. For example, if I blew up a grenade in front of you, your ears would, like if you were 20, 30 feet away and if it didn't affect you or whatever, feet where it doesn't harm you physically, where you blow up yourself, but you get to hear it, it would affect your eardrums. It'll blow out your eardrums. So if that affects you, what makes you think gigahertz on the low frequency doesn't? It does. And this is the problem, that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge this. We have a society now that they're going, no, it's just music. No, it's just a movie. It doesn't mean more than that. It's just art. But it's not. Our youth is affected by it. Our elderly are affected by it. The young adults are affected by it. I see it. I see how much it changes our perspective and how we see things. And then you have people that are fighting for, equal rights or whatever it may be, but they don't realize that the stuff that they're preaching themselves, women rights, for example, Megan Thee Stallion, or her name is whatever, or Cardi B, they're talking about, oh yeah, women rights, oh yeah, women, their empowerment. What does that empower about women? The song literally says, go be a prostitute, go act like one, go make money, go jip a guy and take his money. What type of status does that give a woman? What type of, I guess you could say, power? What type of knowledge does that give? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It doesn't offer anything where you could possibly say, for example, yeah, this is making a big difference. This is making a huge difference in my life. It's not. It's not making it's not barely denting you in a good way. In fact, it's deteriorating your mind, your belief, and everything you possibly could, follow. So this is where we have an ideological warfare between two people or a group of people, where you have the left wing, right wing, and then you have the center. And this idea has now become so big that you have people that are going to the polar opposites of extremes fighting each other. And I say this because throughout TikTok, like I mentioned, I saw polar opposites. I saw one showing you on how to avoid cults that are satanic, and on the other side, you're seeing how to basically join one. And it confuses someone. If they don't know it, and they don't have the right head over their shoulder, they will follow what's shown to them. I have so many people, numerous account of people that I know that didn't have a mom or father figure. They chose the wrong way. They made wrong mistakes, and you can't kind of blame them, because who are they supposed to follow? What are they supposed to follow? If they don't have right people around them telling them what to do, so when the next best thing comes and someone goes, hey, you can make money like this the wrong way, but you'll become very rich, they're going to follow it. Everyone's going to follow. That's why some people, a majority of people, not even some, a majority of people join gangs. Majority of people join, the mafia, whatever it may be. They join because they have a sense or a need, a family, a brotherhood of not failing each other. And it's the same thing that falls for people that join the army. It's not that they're doing two different things. They want a sense of basically contentment with a relationship that they have with someone else as another human, where they can feel, I can trust you and you can trust me no matter what. And this is where we're going wrong. We believe that, okay, if we just talk about GDP, we talk about politics, we talk about money, then the world's going to get fixed. The world, although it revolves a lot around money, it doesn't make a majority of our changes internally. And the reason why I say this is because your nature and nurture determine who you are, not money. There's people that have been born and raised with poverty. There's people that have been born and raised with a lot of money. And it doesn't make a difference on who they become. What does is who their parents are, who their surrounding is, what they did when they were young, what were they instilled with morals and ethics, were they instilled with any morals or ethics, what were they, all these things. So it's really crazy, and I keep thinking this, and it's just that how much our youth has become basically manipulated and firmly believe in their ideology of, we are not in a ideological warfare between religion or God and the devil or whatever it may be. And a lot of people are going to be, especially the atheists, say, oh, I don't believe in God, so it doesn't matter. Okay, if you don't believe in God and you don't believe in that, then how can you explain all these other things that are going on that are related to that? You can't, because you need to believe in God. There is a God, there is a devil, there's a heaven, there's a hell. And more as time is going by, we are seeing it evidently show it to ourselves. Whether you're Christian, Jew, Muslim, whatever it may be, you're seeing it. And it's being abundantly clear to us. And if you're avoiding it, it's because you genuinely know that if you actually acknowledge that, your life will change. A lot of people don't want to believe in God because they know their lives are going to change, and it won't change for the good. They know that they're going to put themselves on check. For example, these girls, and I say this because it really irks me how these girls take advantage of men and what their income is. I saw this video, and I say this, not all women, but I'm just saying in general. I saw this video where this girl was very stupid, all right? There's this guy named Israel. He's in Texas. He does like, street questions or whatever you would call it. He just goes up to people asking them questions. He asked the girl, like, what is your number one thing a guy has to have? She goes, he needs to make more money than me. And then there's a guy in front of her, and he's interviewing him. And then she goes, the guy Israel goes, how much do you make? She goes, about $32,000 a year. And this guy, they're interviewing next to each other. Israel goes, how much do you make? He goes, about $15,000 to $20,000 a month. And she goes, that's not good enough. Yeah, like you that's not a lot. You're not making much. And it's funny because she's so stupid, she doesn't realize she's not even making. He's making 75% of what she makes all year in 1 month. In her mind, she's so dumb, and she doesn't know she's saying this because she truly hears it from her friends, from this and that. The man should be a millionaire. The man should be this. The man should be that. And he should take care of you. He should let you dress bad. He should let you listen to, whatever music you want to listen to, do whatever activities you want to do with your girls, and it's absolutely okay. And she was just lost. She's like, no, that's not good enough. She walked away. And the guy looked at Israel, and Israel looked at that guy, and they're like, what? Like, did she understand what she was even saying? And I bring this up to you guys because this is where I told you the idea of ideological warfare is between being a smart individual or being a faithful individual, a person of God or a person of faith in general, and being a Satan is being a person that is being belittled all the time, is being implemented in our lives. You might be like, oh, well, these two things don't correlate. Satanism, or for example, the idea and the ideologies of, a satanic occult or whatever don't affect us. They do. This is where the music industry, this is where the movie industry show and play these stigmas and these certain stereotypes that a woman should be a bad, bee or whatever you want to call it. And I don't want to cuss because of YouTube, but you want to be a bad little girl. You want to do this and do that. You want to look all spicy, all cool, and talk shit to all these other people and act like you're better than them. And then in reality, you're nothing. They think this is the way to go. And this is, in reality, taking the value of a woman and dropping it down. And then this is where I have a lot of problems with people that tell me, oh, Islam is an extremely oppressive, religion to women. In what way? Explain in what way is it oppressive? I was just listening to this during Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his lifetime, he talked about Islam and he came to be. The people, the Meccans or whatever you want to call them, the Quraysh as they call it, absolutely whitewashed the name that's Quraysh, but those people and all these others that you see that were around in Saudi Arabia, they would hate to have even girls as children. When Islam came in, it promoted to have a girl that's a child, like having a daughter is not a bad thing basically. But and back in those times, they didn't care about it. They said, oh, you should murder those kids. You should get rid of your daughter. If you have one, it's a disgrace. So in what way, for example, Islam is oppressive to women? Oh, because we tell them to basically cover up. That's oppressive. They think, and this is what bothers me, a woman in general, a majority of these women, especially in the European or Western hemisphere, they think the more skin you show, the more freedom you have. The more you can talk shit, the more freedom you have. The more you act like you're, the boss of the house, the more freedom you have. That is so far from the truth that if I were to tell you the truth, you would be probably dead, not even believing it. That's how bad these people can't comprehend the idea of what it means to be a woman. And they go, bros, you're not a woman. You can't tell me how to be a woman. You're right. I'm not a woman. But I can tell you exactly what a man looks for in a woman. He doesn't look for a woman that's going to be the boss of the house. You want a submissive wife. And I know a lot of people hate that word when I say submissive wife, but a man wants a submissive wife where she lets him lead and supports him. And then in return, he lets her lead in certain different places and he supports her. It's just a relationship like that. If you want to be the daddy of the relationship and always 24/7 the best and the leader, I promise you this right now. If you're not the man of the relationship and you're a woman, you're doing that, a good man will not stay. And if you don't believe me, ask a good man. All these girls that are 31 and 34 that are single, they don't choose to be single. That's a bunch of bullshit. Those girls don't want to be single. If a girl is 34 and she's saying, I'm single, I chose to be single because I didn't find the right one, shut up. You're such a liar. I know 100% of you want to be married, and if you got the chance to find the right one, you would be there right now without a certainty of doubt. But they don't want to accept that. They want to say, no, it's not. I like being alone. I like this. Okay, all right. You keep saying that when you're 45. There's so many accounts of people that I know, and I mean numerous amount of scenarios where women in general have told me, or my friends, for example, they're 30, 35. They're like, oh my God, I wish I was just a little bit more submissive to the person I was with. I wish I was a little bit more understanding. I wish I wasn't so hard-headed. I'd be in a happy marriage right now. Because again, this is going to go back to the same conversation. The idea of Satanism versus, a religious person, they want to deteriorate the fact of a family. So what are they doing? They're corrupting the minds of women in particular to make you believe that you should not be married, because if you're married, you're going to lose all privilege of your life. That's not the truth. That's far from the truth. That's very, very far from the truth. There was a study that was actually done that said women in America in particular, over 55% of women will be single by the year 2030. They won't be married. Over 55, 60%. I believe that was the study, if I'm not mistaken. Imagine 6 out of 10 women are going to be single and old and not married. Why? Because they think that is liberation, to be alone, to pay your rent alone, to do all that alone. Just because a man wants to help you financially and be there physically, and in return he asks you for a massage or says, can you, cook some food for us? It does not mean you've lost freedom. You could still have a job. There's no problem of having a job. But the women in particular that I've seen in the society right now have become so in love with the idea of being the boss, quote unquote, that it affects them. And then when they realize it, it's too late. It's so late that they go, oh man, I'm past my prime. No one wants to marry me. That's what happens. They go, oh, I'm 34. No one wants to marry me. And that's what's exactly going to happen. No man that in his age of 26, 27, like myself, is going to marry a woman that's 34, 35, or even past older than me and go, yeah, you know what? You just saved yourself for the right person. That's a bunch of bullshit. You've done everything wrong you possibly could. And then when you realize no one wants you, you use like a washed rag doll. And you sit there and you go, no one wants me. Because what? Because you made the decision yourself. And I want you guys to understand this. This is not just for only women. This applies to men too. Acting like you're 45 and single and then being a player and then eventually asking a 22-year-old to marry you where she's never done anything wrong in her life. You're a piece of shit yourself too, my friend. You haven't done anything good either. Even if you're a millionaire, it doesn't make you better, because money doesn't provide and show your status in the world as a intellectual, as a philosopher, as a person that adds value to the world. Money does not add value. It adds monetary value, but it doesn't add value beyond that. What does it really add? Think about, what does money really do? So I want you guys to think about that. How much are we really infused with the idea of Satanism, the idea of how much satanic cults and rituals exist, and we allow it to be a part of our life, and then how much it affects us in our daily normal life, from us comparing one another to each other, and then to going all the way to our relationships, to our children, to our livelihoods, to our ideologies of what society should be. It is real. It is 100% real, and it affects us, even from movies to music to everything. So think about that the next time you watch a movie that promotes toxic anything, masculinity, femininity, whatever, or a woman, or a song that you listen to that tells you how to act as a bad bee, and then do all the wrong things, and innately they're wrong, or for a guy to be a player and what's wrong. Think about those things. All right. With that being said, I hope to see you guys on the next episode of Before the Rise. I hope everyone's doing well. If you guys can, I would really appreciate if you share, like, and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. And then you can also follow me on Brosie at Instagram. Just simple as that, guys. TikTok as well, too. Share this around. I know you guys will love these episodes as they come more and more. I'm hoping to actually get a couple people on here. It'd be nice to bring them into the studio and just ask them questions, talk to people that are really intellectual and what their realm of basically their field is. And it would be nice for you guys to see the perspective of different other people around me and you and in the society. And I can have debates on here too. I love debates. So I hope you guys have a good one. Thank you for all the support and love. And I will see you guys on the next one.